Hey, you. Yeah, you. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. A message to all young rappers. I remember when I was growing up, rap was more fun. Then at one point it got kind of gangsta and about street battles and battle rapping. Then it was just sample after sample after sample. Then it got a little serious for a while. But now, the last, I would say, 10, 15 years of rap, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just not up to par. I mean, it's just not really good anymore. I mean, there's some good artists out there over the last 10 years. I mean, guys like Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, guys like that I see as more the leaders of the new school. But I mean, there's so many rappers out there that are just, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. They're fucking idiots. I mean, they treat their fans like shit. They go online and they just say whatever they want. They disrespect a lot of people in the process, including the older generation that came before them. They really just don't understand what it really is like to be an MC, to be a real rapper. It's a great skill to be able to hear a great beat, even if it's sampled or original or just some DJ scratching, and to be able to put lyrics to that and for it to make sense and to tell a story, I think is one of the most phenomenal things in music. I've always made this joke saying that the similarities to rap and country are always very similar in the sense where, I mean, sometimes, okay, obviously, it's different. It's one's got beat machines, the other one uses a 6-string guitar, but the concept is always the same. Telling stories and coming up with different concepts and just making a song that much more interesting. Somewhere along the line, I don't know what happened. I mean, it's just an explosion of young rappers over the last 5 years, and I don't know, 90% of them are start with the name Little, which, by the way, a lot of people always say like Lil Wayne, may not be one of the greatest rappers of all time. I think he is. I mean, I would definitely put him in the top 25 for sure. If I had to say it just on the top of my head, I don't know if I can say top 10 or top 20, but definitely top 25 for sure. Because there's a lot of great guys that came before him. So if you can't see that he had an influence just on his name alone, there's something wrong with you. But there's just such a lack of disrespect. I mean, I remember even like when I was growing up. I mean, one of my favorite rappers is Jay-Z, and he came out with the Black Album, and he said that was going to be his last album. He retired for a couple of years, and yet he would always still show up in tracks here and there, and he came back 3 years later. So, and even that generation like respected everyone that came before them, like guys like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, EMPD, Gangstar, KRS-One. I mean, there was no real beef there. I mean, there's a couple here and there, whatever, but nothing. I mean, nobody was really disrespecting anybody. I mean, like, again, I know there were rap beeps, for sure. I mean, no one's denying that. It always seems to be one of the main staples in rap. I mean, a lot of people always say, imagine if this was years ago, if like the Spinners, became a group, and then all of a sudden the Commodores, made fun of them on a track. I mean, I mean, like that would never happen. But in rap, it's always a good consistent battle, and like for the most part, it is what it is. I mean, there has been violence, but not this much. I mean, like in today's day and age, like I mean, just everyone's going online, and for some reason, people think like when you're in front of that invisible screen, you can say whatever you want, and then people don't realize once you leave your house, it's actually the real world, and you got to face it. A lot of people are saying also there's more drug use in music today, and it used to be about in rap like selling the drugs, and now it's about taking the drugs. And if you don't take drugs, like Molly and whatever the fuck else you're sniffing up your nose or swallowing with your water, you're not cool anymore. And it's cool to be more fucked up on your songs than it is to be coherent. So I heard a funny story one time. Future was telling the story. Future is a rapper slash singer, I guess. I don't get me wrong, I like Future in a lot of songs. I feel he can really make a good song. At the same time, there's songs where they all just sound the same. I don't know what the fuck he's saying for the most part. It's like listening to a reggae song. I just don't understand a lot of it. But he said one time he was making a song. He was recording a song called Tony Montana, which a rapper talking about Scarface. Who would have thought? But he went into the studio, and he was saying the chorus, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, and he said, he even admitted, he said he was so high he couldn't even sing the song because he heard it the next day, and he said to himself, like, I have to re-record it because it was just basically noise. Nobody was understanding. Like even he couldn't even understand what the fuck he was saying. So, and I don't know. To me, Future basically invented mumble rap. I mean, a lot of the older generation will say, well, people have been mumbling on rap since the beginning of time, but now it's just getting to a point now where you just will literally mumble anything, and it'll just, there's a good chance it'll be a hit. If it's got a good beat on it, you could easily make that into a hit. Future's one of his biggest hits was what's it called? Mask On, Mask Off. I mean, he was drugs on that one. I mean, because the chorus just goes Molly Percocets, Molly Percocets, Molly Percocets. Chase a check, never chase a bitch. Now, do I agree with a lot of these lyrics? I don't know. But at the same time, you got Metro Boomin producing it, who's a very good producer. I think him and Mike Will made it. Probably the two top producers right now in the game. I mean, a lot of the other guys, I mean, their just beats just sound the same. I don't know, like at least these guys like keep it creative. So I always like that. And he's got like the cool whistles and whatever, the flutes playing in the background. So for the most part, if you hear like a rap sample with a flute, people are gonna listen to it, and it is catchy. It's just something. It's just something about flutes that have always been catchy. That what do you call it? Island drums, whatever. That's always catchy. So it's just certain melodies and instruments in rap that are just always catchy. But again, the guy's rapping about drugs. I mean, like that's our chorus. Hey, pills. We're popping mollies. Perks. All right. I mean, this is what catches on as good rap today. Nobody's out there anymore just, saying the truth or what's going on in today's society. I mean, certain things we got to put up with. I mean, some people are, don't get me wrong, You listen to it's been over a year since Kendrick Lamar's Damn came out, and Like in my opinion, that's when you know an album is a classic. When a year has passed and you're still listening to the album, and that's a classic. I'm sick and tired of these guys coming out, and all of a sudden, like not even a day later, the album is out, and you're already considering it a classic. How? You gotta like it just it was just born. It's like if a baby just came out of the womb and said, "Wow, that baby's a star." It just fucking came out, man. I mean, look, it's still got the gook on it, and yeah, clean it off. I mean, let it breathe for a bit, and then let's see over time what it becomes. And that's music. I mean, that's the power of music. I mean, it should be, felt like a year from now, a decade from now, if you're lucky, 20, 30 years from now, Michael Jackson's Thriller. I mean, that is a huge album. That is one of the biggest selling albums of all time, one of the best albums of all time, in my opinion. A couple years ago, an artist named by The Weeknd, he came out with, which I believe is the modern day version of Thriller, Starboy. Every song on that album is a hit. And a year later, again, I was still listening to it. People are still listening to that album today. And they're still waiting for his next project to come out. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on him too, because, is he going to be able to come out with that album again? Like an album type like that again? Will he try something different? I mean, when Kanye made Graduation, he pulled a total 180, with 808s and Heartbreaks. And that was a good album too, A lot of people were giving shit about T-Pain for using the auto-tune, but yet Kanye West did the exact same thing and, in many people's opinion, create a classic. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, making classic, timeless music, obviously, but you got to give it time to say it's a classic. You can't just rush greatness. You can't. I mean, it used to be a time where people would come out with music and, rap albums were always notorious for being delayed. I mean, now it's like the same artist can come out with 2 albums in 1 year, sometimes even 3, mixtapes up the ass, and it just never ends, and we're just flooded with music, Like recently with Kanye West coming out with the Pusha T album, 7 tracks, the Kid Cudi and Kanye West album, 7 tracks, Nas, 7 tracks. It's just constant, one after another, after another, after another, And the reason why, I'm going to be honest with you, the reason why there are 7 tracks is because they're trying to save money. And, they're just pushing out these albums quicker and quicker, You're not known for your albums anymore. And this has been the problem with rap for a very long time, is that, now with... illegal downloading for the last probably almost 20 years. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't paid for an album since Jay-Z's The Black Album, and I thought that was appropriate for me to be, the last album I ever buy, because that was supposed to be Jay-Z's last album. So I thought, okay, this is perfect. But then the average kid growing up, he doesn't have that much money. What's he gonna do? Is he going to spend $10 to $20 for an album? He's going to pay $1 for a song? No, he's going to get it for free with bonus tracks. A lot of times he gets it even just before the album is even released, if he's lucky. He'll have the album within less than a minute if he's got decent internet speed. So what's the incentive? Everything is being corrupted, with music, but especially with rap, though. I think rap is absolutely being more corrupted. I mean, I remember growing up, every other music video was either Little X, Dave Myers, or Hype Williams. Hype Williams doesn't come cheap. I mean, that guy would make, give or take $1 million videos. I think he did one video for Busta Rhymes that was 1.5 million. I think the Fire one, I know the one he did with Janet Jackson. Actually, no, the one that he did with Janet Jackson, I think that was 1.52 million for a music video. You're not gonna see that shit today. People's albums won't even sell that much. You know, I mean, most people go out there with their handy cams or their cell phones and just record it themselves. How many music directors can you name today? I mean, Dave Meyers does, the odd thing, but Little X too. I get. Like Hype Williams. I barely see him in anything. Again, nobody can afford him. You're lucky if your album gets like 100,000 the first week. 100,000. Back in like 1995, that was a joke. 100,000. That's it. But now that's considered a huge hit. But realistically, you're not making money off albums anymore. That's what I always said about music today, but especially rappers as well, is that it really proves like for the younger generation, who's the smarter rapper now? Who's the person that can go out there, live off a mixtape, and make and build that into eventually like a hit album. And then when you make that hit album, you're lucky if you get 100,000, 200,000, and you try to stretch it as much as you can, make a couple videos here and there, but it's your name. And touring, that's where the money is. Touring. Don't waste your money on houses or cars or jewelry. Holy fucking shit, jewelry. Some of you rappers are so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Like if you waste your money, like if you got, let's say, $500,000 in the bank and you spend like, let's say, $200 on jewelry, you are a fucking idiot. Plain and simple. And again, I know I said before, like, don't waste your money on houses. Now, I'm not saying don't buy, property. Because, buying property is smart. It really is, but don't overdo it. Okay? Buy some property. Have a little nest egg for yourself. Drive a Prius for a while if you have to. Who gives a shit? Just, save some money. That's it. Save your money. Because there's no way that one hit will last you for the rest of your life. Not in today's world. Okay? I love big butts, and I cannot lie. I've heard that guy, Sir Mix-a-Lot, has made, over 20, 25 million off that song? I don't know him for any other songs. I'm just being honest. I know he produces a lot. That's what I've heard. But, if you're lucky enough, you can have that hit song and you will make some money off it. But it's gonna run out. And these rappers too that have like 10, 20 people in their entourage. Okay, I gotta buy you jewelry. I gotta make sure you're okay. No, you make sure you're okay. Because if they're real friends, they can take care of their own shit. They don't gotta sponge off you. That's not a friend. That's a leech. Do what you got to do to set yourself off properly. And make sure that you're okay for the next 10, 20, even 30 years. Make yourself into a business. Okay, it's like Jay-Z said a long time ago. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Jay-Z was smart, man. He admitted in the one song there, the story of OJ. I forgot the exact number he said, but he basically said that, I could have, instead of buying cars, I could have brought some property, and I was stupid. I was out of my mind. I was just buying shit just to say I have shit. Listen to the older generation. They know what the fuck they're talking about. They lived it already. They know what's going on. It's like your parents. They see you making mistakes and they're telling you, look, we made these mistakes already. We don't want you to do the same stupid shit we did. Waste your money on women and drugs and other pointless shit that has no redeeming factor. Nothing that's gonna make you back money. Save your money. And when you make your music, make it powerful. I always thought, and this goes with anybody in music, you have the people's ear. You know, I get it. You want to talk about like where you come from, what you're going through. But you know, if you have a great message that you can send out to the world, talk about it. Make that into a hit song and take your time. I mean, you don't have to come up with a new track every week. That's that's why, like, even with Drake, I mean, I personally, I don't give a shit if he has a ghostwriter. I mean, he's producing hit after hit after hit. And you know what? I got news for people out there, especially the younger generation. Nobody does anything on their own. Nobody. Okay? There's certain things that you can take credit for. That's fine. I get it. But in the end, if you want someone's help, if you need someone's help, ask for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. Take your time. Think about why you're in this business. Rap has always been, in my opinion, the voice of the streets. And everything that's wrong and great about it. And to make that into a hit song and share a message of things that you've personally been through. And you know, the power that it can have on other people and the next generation. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. So if you're rapping about the same shit and jewelry and cars and, whatever tattoos you have on your face, and that's another thing too. Like, I don't know what's going on with this new generation of rap. I mean, everyone's got a fucking tattoo on their face. And not just one, just like multiple things, like just all over the place, And it's almost like becoming the norm. It's like you can't be a rapper today unless you have a bunch of shit on your face. And that's sad. I mean, like, I don't know. It almost looks like it looks like a sticker album. Like, I don't know, like people's faces. It's weird. Like, I don't know, Well, I got this cross because I love Jesus. I got this because I don't speak Chinese, but I think it looks cool. This little thing. Who cares? I mean, I get it. If you want to do it, it's fine. Go ahead, but keep in mind, at one point or another, you're going to turn 60 one day. Hopefully, you'll be lucky to turn 60, and you're going to look at yourself in the mirror. And you're going to play tic-tac-toe with your face, and it's going to look insane. Once you do that to your face, it's not like, let's say you fail as a rapper and then you can get a job on Wall Street. I mean, you're screwed, I mean, like, so I'm not going to lie. Again, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but it's really going to be hard to be a lawyer, and for the jurors to take you seriously. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know I have a tattoo of a bear on my face, but my client, he's really innocent. It just doesn't work. So again, take pride in your appearance. I get it. Fucked up shit happened in your life. Fucked up shit happened in my life too. But I'm just gonna live with my facial features and my two little hairy caterpillars that I got as eyebrows on my head. So I'm good. I can live with that. Personally, if I was gonna get a tattoo on my face, it'd be like the Taco Bell logo. So I can get like free fried supreme for life. Make money. That's all I'm saying. Is like whatever you do, just do it to at least make money. I mean, and again, I'm not saying that money is the ultimate thing and the only thing you should strive for in life. But at the same time, yeah. Save it. So watch your appearance. Watch how you come across to other people. Respect the people that have come before you. Save your money. And probably one of the most important things I can tell young rappers is watch how you act. Watch how you act towards other people. Recently, a rapper has passed away by the name of XXX Tentacion. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I listened to a couple of his songs. I've seen a couple of his videos. I wasn't really a big fan. I mean, you look at this guy. I mean, like this is a guy. If you're walking down the street at 3 a.m., he would scare the shit out of me. I'm just being honest. I mean, the way this guy looked it's nothing. Nothing short of horrific. Again, I'm not trying to badmouth the guy or anything. After he's died, but again, you got to be careful on how you present yourself. I mean, really. I mean, I get it. You've been through some shit in your life, but at the same time, I've heard a lot of shit that he's done, including, getting into fights with his fans, saying stupid shit on the internet to people. I heard he had a sexual harassment case against him, And the guy's he's a young guy. I mean, I think he died at the age of 20. 20 years old. Now, I heard near the end he was trying to better off his life. Make it more livable. Trying to, right some of the wrongs he did, And this poor kid, I say kid because he was just a kid. 20 years old is nothing. I mean, it really is. I mean, when you're a teenager, you're lost in many ways. You have no idea how the real world works. I mean, most of us are still living at home. We're not paying rent yet. We're not working full time. We don't see that. It's almost sad to say this, but most of the world does not give a shit about you. And you're just another person. And you're the one that has to work hard and prove otherwise. And the problem with a lot of teenagers, including this young man, he did a lot of stupid shit, even before he was 20, And I'm not saying he deserved what he got. Apparently, he was driving in his new car, and two guys just came up to him and shot him and took his bag and just took off. The sad thing is, the real sad thing is that apparently these guys were, bragging about this afterwards, which is another fucking thing. Again, maybe I'm getting off topic here, but it blows my mind that this is the kind of world we live in. That people like people are thinking about doing these crimes. They'll say shit online. They'll do these horrific crimes, and then afterwards they'll brag about it online. And I don't know if it's just gone to a point where people are just so psychotic that it's just fucking scary, or people have no fucking idea what the repercussions are of talking about this shit online. Again, people think they're just living behind this force field and nobody can hurt them and no one's gonna do anything, and it cost this kid his life. And he was going through a lot of things, and karma's a motherfucker. Again, I'm not saying he deserved this by any means. But you have to be careful on what you do in life. And, life has got a way of getting back at you. Another rapper that passed away a couple months ago was a guy named Little Peep. And unfortunately, another young guy, they found him OD'd on a bus. He had all this medication in him, and I listened to some of his music, and it was funny because they talked about him as being kind of a next generation rap kind of rock Kurt Cobain, and Again, those are some big shoes to fill. I am a kid of the '90s, so to compare anybody to Kurt Cobain is just insane. But I could see why people were saying that. And again, it seemed like this kid had a lot of talent. He had the people's ear, and he didn't show any signs of slowing down like XXX Tacion. And again, like both these guys, like I liked some of their music. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of any of them. I mean, I probably found out more about them after they were dead. Which again goes back to what Notorious B.I.G. said. You're nobody till someone kills you. Which is a lot of people don't want to admit that, but it's true. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, honestly, like a lot of times, like we never say someone's the greatest until they're dead. And it shouldn't be like that, and that's something that's got to change as well. But I mean, this poor kid, just OD'd by himself in the bus, and nobody found him till like hours later. And I was doing a little bit of research on him, and apparently both of his parents were from Harvard. So I mean, that alone, I mean, like he built up a great audience, great fan base with his music. Me personally, I'm just thinking out loud here. It must be hard for a kid to grow up with both of their parents being teachers from Harvard. I mean, Harvard is one of the best schools in the world, and to live up to that, I mean, that alone is it's a tough road ahead. And so you have two guys, from the younger generation. One died because of just random violence, and another guy died because of just drugs. Two ways that someone should die that is not necessary. It's just sad. Remember one time I was doing a job where I saw 5 kids, and they couldn't have been more than 15, 16. And I saw one of the kids, he had some cough syrup in his hand. Now, God only knows, how did he get it? Who knows? Maybe he stole it. I mean, again, who knows? And the sad thing is, these guys, like, he kept passing it around to the other guys because they couldn't get the fucking bottle open. So it was funny and sad at the same time. I mean, it's funny because, these guys can't open a child-proof, container, but at the same time, it's sad because, these guys are probably going to drink this shit straight, be sick, it's just sad. I mean, going back to what I said before, I just remember, like, rap being more fun. Like rap to me was always just, it was about having fun, and at the same time, like, there was that part, and there was that part of just like teaching the next generation or that generation something. And that's what makes rap so great. I mean, the great thing about rap is that, because of everyone's, fast spoken word, you can say a lot in a very little amount of time. And that's why it's called rap, because, it's almost like, like in my opinion, that's, it's kind of like, okay, let's wrap this up. And when you wrap something up, you only have maybe 5 minutes or something like that. I mean, the average rap song, now it's way shorter. Now it's like, I've heard rap songs now that are on, maybe 2.5 minutes, right? But back then it was like more like, maybe 3.5, 4.5, even 5 minutes. And you try to squeeze in as much as you can, but nowadays it's just, I don't know, like, everyone's been rapping over that same beat for the last 10, 15 years, and nobody's really saying anything. And even if they maybe are trying to say something, they're mumbling it. I can't understand what the fuck they're saying. It's just the same shit over and over again. There has to be more to it. And then even with their side antics of, just doing stupid shit on the internet, Like, people are going to remember you for that more than your actual music, assuming they can understand what the fuck you're talking about in your music. Now, again, I don't want to sound like an old head here, okay? I like a lot of the music that's out there, but a lot of it is just shit. And a lot of it, like I said before, these rappers will be known for, their online and other than their music antics, than their actual music. Just please value your life and what it's worth. Don't piss it away on drugs or being too angry, and just make sure that you take care of yourself as much as you take care of everyone else in your crew or your fans. And make sure you treat your fans with respect, because without them, you're nothing. And respect the people that came before you, because without these people, you wouldn't be here. You don't even have to like their own music. You don't have to like their production, the way they produced beats back then. But respect them. Respect the process. Think of them like teachers. When you're in school, you're not always going to respect them. But you'll find out later on, as years pass, they didn't mean you any harm. They just wanted to help you, like any good teacher would. There's a song that Jay-Z did on Volume 3, The Lifetimes of Sean Carter, called There's Been a Murder. And one lyric I always liked, he said, was, "Lord help me. All I ever wanted to be was wealthy or somebody to tell me that they felt me." I think a lot of times in life, we all feel like that. We just want someone to hear us. Whether if it's in our songs or just in life. But it's important that we value life. And it's important that when we rap in our songs, that's all it is. It's just a rap. But at the same time, those raps can be really powerful. And they can send off a very powerful message. And that's something will always stay with us for the rest of our lives. So you better make sure that every action you take in this life is worth it. Because there's a good chance it'll always come back to haunt you. Let your words be the bullets. And let your beat be the gun. A message to all young rappers.